Hi, it's Mark, your Madison Cork Dork. Yesterday, I talked about Grenache, one of the most popular red grapes to plant around the world. Today, I'm going over part two of my four-part series on the GSM-Rhone blend. Naturally, the second grape I will be discussing is Syrah, also known as Shiraz. So why am I doing these videos? Well, the majority of you probably heard of some of the following varietals: Cabernet Sauvignon, Chardonnay, Riesling, and Moscato. I, however, would like to introduce you to grapes that you probably never heard of. At the beginning of each video, I will remind you a few things. First and foremost, anyone can learn how to smell and taste wine. Your sensations of taste and smell are determined by the chemicals that are in food and drink. When we say we're smelling rhubarb or we're tasting dark chocolate, we're not making this up. With time, you can train yourself to seek out individual smells. Just swirl your wine glass, close your eyes, and think about what you're smelling and tasting. And this will help you appreciate and analyze wine. I'll be bringing up several terms that I will define at the beginning of each video. You already know whether a wine is dry or sweet. Body is the mouthfeel you have when you taste the wine. It's analogous to milk. If it feels like whole milk, that's full-bodied. If it feels like skim milk, it's light-bodied. If it's 2%, it's medium-bodied. Tannin is the astringency you feel in your mouth that some wines have. It makes your tongue feel like it's sticking to the side of your teeth or to the roof of your mouth. Acidity is how watery your mouth feels after swallowing. The more watery, the higher the acidity, and all wines are acidic. Alcohol outside of the label can also be guessed by how much the wine burns at the top of your throat when it goes down. Okay, so on to the grape. Like yesterday, I was going back and forth in my head as to whether or not to include Syrah in these videos. On the one hand, it seemed to me that Syrah was popular enough that most of you would be familiar with it. On the other hand, it's used to make the GSM-Rhone blend, so I thought I should do this video before going into the Rhone blend. Normally, I would try to stick to the original name of the grape in order to avoid confusion. Syrah is different. I will use Syrah interchangeably with Shiraz, only when talking about Australia. The reason for this is that you will not find an Australian bottle that says Syrah on it. It will only say Shiraz. Aussies are, of course, pretty weird. France is the #1 producer of Syrah, followed by Australia. Syrah's finest in the Rhone Valley of France. Australia's finest of Shiraz is in the province of South Africa. Syrah is the 4th most planted grape in France, whereas in Australia, Shiraz is #1. So, the Rhone Valley, as you may recall from yesterday, is located here in France. Now, South Australia, this particular region here, this little purple area, that which my fingers are pointing towards. Okay, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, Syrah is best when it is grown further up the hill than most grapes. Here is where there is less soil, making fewer but more concentrated Syrah grapes. We are not 100% certain where the grape is from, though it does have a long documented history in the Rhone Valley. However, nothing is more fun than when you include a more mythical origin story. The city of Shiraz was once the capital of an ancient Persian empire, which was known to produce a wine called Shirazi. In one version of the story, Greeks brought it to one of their islands in 600 BC. Another legend revolves around Roman Emperor Probus in 260 AD, who gave the name to the grape, claiming it was originally from Syracuse, Italy. In 1831, Scotsman and founder of Australian winemaking, James Busby, brought some vines from France and planted them in his country. It was called Hermitage or Hermitage at first, but since Hermitage was a protected area of control in France, they switched the name to the much more confusing and much more completely unnecessary Shiraz. In the early 2000s, Shiraz broke into the most planted grape in the world, and has been there ever since. And what I meant to say broke into the top 10. Sort of botched that one up there. All right, so what can you expect from Syrah? Well, it's a full-bodied red wine. Syrah is very dry and it has a medium level of tannin. Syrah also has a medium-high level of acidity and has a medium-high level of alcohol. Syrah is meant to be drunk in a red wine glass should you have one. Syrah should be served between 60 to 68 degrees, which is known as room temperature. Should you have the patience, Syrah can be stored anywhere from 5 to 15 years. You could spend around $25 for a good bottle of Syrah wine, which of course is on the pricier side. So what are some of the smells and tastes you can expect from Syrah? Well, this is a grape that really depends on where it is grown. But the fundamental sensations are blueberry, plum, milk chocolate, tobacco, and green peppercorn. Pair it with lamb shawarma, gyros, or Indian tandoori for a fun experience. So if you're looking for a fine red wine, give Syrah a try. Anyway, this is Mark, your Madison Cork Dork. Join me tomorrow at 3 o'clock for part 3 of my 4-part series when I discuss another important grape for the Rhone blend, Mourvèdre. Thanks for watching.